challenges.
Counselor, I'm very disappointed. I'm getting word salad here, and I don't even have dressing on it. We both know what I'm talking about, and I think your refusal to answer gives me the answer. With all due respect, Counselor, in about 60 seconds, because I only have 5 minutes, could you tell me, in your opinion, what, if anything, is wrong with the criminal justice system in America?
Senator, thank you for that very broad and very important question.
You're welcome.
I understand that there are numerous issues involving the criminal justice system that are the matter of vigorous debate in the public.
Give me two. Give me two things that you think are wrong with our criminal justice system.
Senator, I truly respect the role of policymakers in considering questions like this. It involves so much study of empirical data.
Counselor, I understand that. But give me two things. Maybe you don't think anything's wrong with it, but if you could give me two things you think, in your opinion, are wrong with our criminal justice system.
Senator, in my 12 and a half years of practice in post-conviction law, I have observed instances where individuals were denied fundamental rights that were defined in the Bill of Rights. And I, in many cases, have been able to assist those individuals in seeking vindication.
Okay, let's move on, Counsel. Do you think it's appropriate for a prosecutor to decide not to prosecute certain classes or lines of criminal law violations in the name of social justice?
Senator, I have not had the opportunity to review the legality of challenges to an executive's.
I'm not asking your opinion about the legality. Some of our DAs, you've read about them, I'm sure, in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, for example, other places, have said we are going to ignore criminal statutes passed by the legislature and not prosecute certain lines of cases in the interest of social justice. And I'm asking your opinion about that.
Senator, I do not actually have an opinion about that per se. I do recognize that constituents.
Counselor, you're an intelligent person. You spent your life in criminal, involved in criminal law. You don't have an opinion? Have you thought about it?
Senator, I'm not sure which specific instances of categories of crime that are not being prosecuted you're referring to.
Sure. How about shoplifting? How about receiving stolen property? How about resisting arrest? How about making criminal threats? Do you think those are all statutes, criminal violations? Do you think a prosecutor, it's a very simple question, Counselor. Do you think prosecutors should decide in the name of social justice not to ignore these criminal violations? Have you thought about it?
Senator, I can't say I have.
You're telling me you've not given any thought to this?
Senator,
None whatsoever.
Thank you.
Counselor, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I just don't believe you. You're a well-read, intelligent person. And I don't know why you won't give me your opinion on this.
Senator, I've focused on specific criminal cases as an advocate, as an appointed counsel.
I know that, but I'm asking your opinion. I'm going to ask it one more time. Do you think prosecutors should ignore criminal violations as per statutes passed by a legislative body in the name of social justice as a matter of class of cases?
All I can say, Senator, is I believe that prosecutors have a very important job. And that
I agree. Their job is enormously important. I'm just asking you to answer my question. I can't vote for you if you're not going to answer my question, because I don't know what position you're going to take if you're on the court.
Thank you, Senator.
Would you answer my question?
I would hope that prosecutors would use all of their tools and resources to make important decisions about issues such as the one that you've raised. And if confirmed, I would review the legality of any challenge.
Counselor, I'm very disappointed. I'm getting word salad here, and I don't even have dressing on it. We both know what I'm talking about, and I think your refusal to answer gives me the answer. With all due respect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. I'm going to comment on your question.
Well, I'm going to want to respond.
I want you to.
Okay.
Attorneys and prosecutors make decisions every single day as to what cases will be prosecuted and which cases will not. It is physically, legally impossible to prosecute all cases. They establish priorities. They try to serve the public in establishing those priorities. Every prosecutor makes that choice. They can't prosecute every possible violation of the law. That's just part of their responsibility. I don't see why that is a reflection on whether or not you agree with their choices or not. Some are going to take a much different view than others. That's just the nature of it. And in terms of summarizing what's wrong with the criminal justice system in 60 seconds, challenge any one of us to do the same.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you know, Dick, the affection that I have for you, but this is the third hearing in which you've made editorial comments about my questions.
But I'm leaving the floor open to you.
So I want to respond. Number one, this very bright person has spent her life in the criminal justice system. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask what, if anything, she thinks is wrong with it and get a candid answer. Number two, of course you're right about prosecutorial discretion, but you and I both know that's not what my question was about. We have a number of district attorneys that have taken the position that they are going to ignore criminal statutes passed by a legislative body, and they are not going to prosecute, they meaning the prosecutors, an entire line of cases, for example, shoplifting, receiving stolen property, resisting arrest in the name of social justice. Now, Mr. Chairman, we both know what I'm talking about, and so does the witness. And I don't know why she won't answer the question, and that's the point I was trying to make. I mean no disrespect to either of you, but I think my questions are perfectly appropriate in this environment.
Thank you, Senator. Anything more to add at this point? Okay, thank you very much.
Ms. Freeman, if I could start with you, let's talk about Terrence Williams, if we could. This is someone who you represented in 1981. He committed a burglary. That next year, he committed armed robbery. He broke into the home of an elderly couple on Christmas Eve, I believe, woke them up by pressing a gun to their heads, fired that gun to threaten them into submission. Fortunately, nobody died in that incident, but as I'm sure you remember, others were not so fortunate. In 1984, while he was on release for that armed robbery, he murdered Herbert Hamilton by bludgeoning him with a bat and stabbing him 20 times with a 10-inch butcher's knife, and he then tried to set the body on fire. That is not, however, the murder for which he received the death penalty. 6 months later, he brutally murdered Amos Norwood. He drove this individual, the victim, to a cemetery, made him lie down near a tombstone, bludgeoned Mr. Norwood with a socket wrench and then a tire iron. Before using Mr. Norwood's credit cards to go on a shopping spree, he returned the next day and set Mr. Norwood's body on fire. The court record reflects that one of the motivations apparently for the crime was that Mr. Norwood was gay, and I haven't even listed all of his crimes. He was convicted by a jury of his peers. He was found to be eligible for the death penalty. He was sentenced to death, and then you intervened. And you argued for years that Pennsylvania law shouldn't be carried out, that he shouldn't be actually executed according to the laws of Pennsylvania. Numerous courts rejected the claims that you raised on behalf of this individual. Do you regret trying to prevent this individual who committed these heinous crimes from having justice served upon him?
Senator Hawley, my office was appointed to represent Mr. Williams for his post-conviction proceedings, and we did so as was our duty. And ultimately, Mr. Williams actually prevailed both in the United States Supreme Court as well as in the Pennsylvania courts because of unlawfulness that took place during the course of his conviction. And my colleagues and I pursued those available arguments under the law, and we did prevail.
Well, the death sentence was not carried out because of a technicality involving a justice on the Supreme Court, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, who refused to recuse himself 30 years later. It has nothing to do with the facts of the case. So what I hear you saying is you stand by the arguments you made that this individual should not be executed, that this sort of person, under Pennsylvania law, he was convicted, he was sentenced to death, and you argued for years, long before the recusal issue and having nothing to do with that, you argued that on the facts of the case, this individual shouldn't be executed despite the fact it was Pennsylvania law. I take it from that you're opposed to the death penalty as a matter of principle.
Thank you, Senator. My office, again, was appointed to pursue Mr. Williams' constitutional rights. And we raised a number of constitutional challenges, some of which actually, in addition to the recusal issues, did ultimately prevail. There was a violation of due process that was found.
But you say that, Ms. Freeman, but you get to choose as an advocate. I've been an attorney. I am an attorney now, former prosecutor, the attorney general of my state. You get to choose the arguments that you make. You get to choose how you defend your client. You chose to defend this individual and to seek to have the sentence he was given, to have it prevented from being carried out upon him. And I'm just, in light of these facts, I'm amazed by it. I'm also amazed at what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court Justice had to say about your office, which you've now twice referenced. He said, and this was in one of the cases in which you were involved, this is the Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. He says it has only recently emerged just how pervasive a presence your office, the Federal Community Defender's Office, has made itself in Pennsylvania capital cases, almost invariably without legitimate court appointment and without any Pennsylvania authorities' approval or role of oversight. This private group of federal lawyers pursuing an obstructionist, anti-death penalty agenda have essentially anointed themselves as statewide de facto capital defender's office. Common tactics of your office include multiple attempts to delay and obstruct cases like Mr. Williams, as well as attempts to unsettle and undermine Pennsylvania law. That's the Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Those are very serious allegations from the head of the court. If this is what your office was doing while you were there in these kind of cases involving people like Mr. Williams, how can we have any confidence that you will follow the law as a federal officer yourself?
I see that the time has expired. May I respond? Thank you, Senator Hawley. I understand that was the position of the former Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. I can tell you that I represent individuals when I have been directed to do so by the court, and I fulfilled my duty to zealously advocate for those individuals.
So he was wrong. The Chief Justice was wrong. He misstated the facts or was incorrect here.
Senator, I'm not sure exactly which cases he was referring to in that quote.
This is a concurring opinion of the Terrence Williams case.
Okay, I see. That was his opinion.
My time has expired, Mr. Chairman, and I'll have some additional questions for you, Ms. Freeman. All I can say is these allegations and this record, frankly, is extremely, extremely disturbing. And the idea that the Chief Justice of the Pennsylvania Supreme Court would talk about an obstructionist anti-death penalty agenda, attempts to unsettle and undermine Pennsylvania law, I suffice it to say, I have very serious concerns about your nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.